All right, the race in Phoenix just wrapped up, and the new short track package has finally been unveiled. Chevy keeps dominating, but can they keep it up? Let's talk about it, because we're here for the speed. All right, guys. So, we made it through another race. I am DJ. I am with the Here for the Speed podcast. I am joined by...
My name is Jacob. No.
Oh, don't play it up. Come on.
Nah, I did lose my voice a little bit, so bear with me. I'm sitting next to
Nate, and I'm sitting next to...
Hold on.
Oh, my God. Nate, because this is my first full NASCAR season.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Thank you. We had to make sure. Okay.
And I'm
Follow
here
the
sitting next to...
He's sitting next to the one and only Matthew, local Brad Keselowski fan.
No yee.
Yee.
There we go. All right. So, we just watched the Phoenix race. Just wrapped up, I don't know, a couple minutes ago. Obviously, we have to get set up and everything after watching it, but it just finished. So, what do we think? What do we think of the race overall? Anyone got any opinions so far?
I thought it was decent. I mean, so compared to a lot of short tracks like Martinsville, Bristol, things like that, I mean, it's not a barn burner, but this was definitely the best Phoenix race in a long time.
Yeah.
My opinion, I thought it was a bit of a snoozer. I thought it was a good Phoenix race. Don't get me wrong there. But all in all, the excitement, the level, it didn't show up until the last 10 laps. And I don't know. Out of all the hype that we put towards the short pack trackage, I thought it was going to be a little better.
I think that's mainly because two cars dominated.
It probably was.
Because like if you watch the race from like third, fourth, and on down, a lot of movement, a lot of good racing, slipping, sliding, a lot of the things you want to see.
That just wasn't aired. So
Well, that's a
that's a whole nother topic.
So that's a whole
yeah, but at
other
the same
thing.
time, if you're leading the race, you deserve the TV time.
Real? Hey,
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
true, too.
fair enough. Nate.
Yeah, I
What'd you
mean,
think?
I literally fell asleep. No, but I mean, I had
Keeping
a
it
long
real
weekend.
with Nate.
Yeah, I'm always gonna keep it real, guys. So I'm new, and I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. So,
He's not.
yeah, it was to me. It was kind of boring. I mean, of course, it's not gonna be, a wreck fest every single race, and it's not gonna be all this crazy action. But it did get exciting towards the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that last caution when Kevin Harvick was up, and he was way ahead, man. He took the lead, and then that caution really messed him up, man.
Oh yeah.
Did.
I'll tell you what, beginning at stage 3, they found something that even Hendrick didn't have. I mean, he had what, 5 seconds on Larson before the end? I mean, that's crazy.
I wouldn't even say it was just Kevin Harvick because, I mean, Briscoe was running through the pack for a lot of that race. There was a few times before the last main caution there, he was running up, gaining spots, and I think he got up to like 7th or 8th before the caution, and then before the last set of pit stops.
He kind of got up into the top, the lower part of the top 10 and pretty
yeah.
much stayed there the rest of the day.
He figured it out in the
Yeah.
last 150 laps for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It was so for me, I thought it was pretty. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of with Matt for the most part. The race was kind of boring. There was
It was just mid. It was
mid,
a
yeah.
There was
general race.
Yeah, there was definitely races, for positions going on, and there was definitely things happening. But for a lot of it, like we kind of talked to and alluded to earlier, we didn't really get to see it. And and like we said, if we have one or two cars that are dominating the race, it's going to seem more boring. Like
Right.
I think back to, I know I've talked about this before. I think we talked about it last week actually, where there was races where like people used to make fun of Truex that when he does win, he usually dominates the whole race, and it's like the most boring race ever because he's in the lead the entire time, and that's kind of what we felt like today a little bit. Obviously, the last few laps was great. Like the last few cautions there, tons of excitement, tons of being on the edge of your seat, which is great. But we just need that for the whole thing.
That is one thing you can count on at Phoenix is the restarts are going to be
Always.
aggressive. They're going to be entertaining, and you're going to want to keep an eye on your primary driver because they could either make up ground where they may have lost it or they're going to fall back. It's one of the two. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You mentioned that you want that more throughout the entire race. I don't necessarily need that. I don't need bumping and banging and slamming the entire time, 5 wide, 6 wide.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
I don't think
I like seeing guys slip and slide and struggle. You saw Bowman almost. I like seeing guys almost spit out by themselves.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of it. I didn't see the
saw
low
a-
downforce
I
that
would say-
they alluded to.
There
There's
was a
not
couple
a lot,
cars.
but there was more. than
There was
last
more.
year.
There was
yes,
more.
I
But
would agree.
I think it rounds up to the tires.
I
I think they need a little bit more.
I think, well, yeah, they definitely need more tire fall off. The average across the whole field was a second throughout an entire tire run. So that's obviously,
Yeah, that's not enough. I don't think.
no, that's not enough. I think it'll never happen, but these cars need more horsepower.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
They
I
have,
get
they
it.
have too much grip.
I get it. I'm still going
That's
to
the
bring it
problem.
up.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think. I mean, do I think it was a good step in the right direction? Yes. I think
yeah.
it was. I mean, it was like we said. I do think that. Well, I agree with Jake. I think it was the best, Phoenix race we've seen in a while. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I think I was hoping for a little more. I was hoping you were going to see a little bit more sliding, but I think these drivers. I think it just shows how good they are. Man, you take away 30% of their downforce, and they're still pretty
holding
stuck.
it on
It's
there.
crazy.
Yeah.
There were
15
some moments. I mean, look at Bowman.
he had
I
a
didn't
good one.
expect him. He had a pretty nice save.
Yeah.
Going into turn 2. And that I thought that was pretty impressive. That was something I was like, whoa, especially me being a Bowman fan. I'm like, I didn't want to, I was like, no, save it. But
Yeah. No, it was for sure. So I mean, yeah, I think overall it was pretty good. We'll kind of go into that more. But kind of moving on to something else, I wanted to ask you guys. You guys all went to the Gator Nationals.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
What'd
definitely
you-
went.
That's why Jake doesn't have a voice,
Yeah, probably inhaled too much nitro.
Yeah,
probably. So what'd you guys think?
It's
incredible.
incredible. Yeah.
it's a
Literally.
different experience for sure. Where you're in the pits and you're looking at the cars being built. I mean, you're right up there, and then they fire them up, and you just see us included, but half the fans just running because they're just the nitro's just burning their eyes, their nose, their throat. Like you just got to run it. Then
I was one
the
of them.
regulars pull out the gas or the gas masks, and they're just standing right there, just enjoying themselves. It's a 180.
That's got to be a
There's-
little weird.
Their slogan is "World's most extreme sport." I think they earned that.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
definitely.
mean,
earned it.
you're going over 300 miles an hour. You deserve it.
No, that's pretty insane. I've heard so many different stories about like that because I've never been to the Gator Nationals, and one of these times I'm going to get to go. And one of the things I remember thinking about was just how loud it is. Like just
It's insane.
like
Word-
we were
words
used to
cannot
Bristol,
describe it.
like there's Bristol loud and there's the racetrack loud, but this is different, right?
Yeah, what was Jake? You had your decibel counter. out.
Yeah.
What was it hitting when they
from
were
our
dropping
seats,
it on
we're
top
probably
fuel?
we're probably 150 feet away, maybe 100 feet away from the start line,
Mm-hmm.
and we were hitting 140 decibels.
And
That's insane.
I would be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I bet it was louder because I bet you the phone
I
couldn't
bet
keep
you're
up.
absolutely right.
I bet you that phone was not accurate at that point.
They say at the tree is like 150,
Jeez,
so that's kind of like the official stat.
I
It's equivalent to standing next to the space shuttle launch.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time going. Thanks to my good friends here, man. They took me out there, and man, I felt like
you don't have friends.
you're right.
Associates, please.
You're not wrong. No, but
You have a family.
Man, when those cars, we were right at the start line, and when those cars were taking off, I literally felt like my brain was shaking inside my head. It was just absolutely insane.
That's
That's
awesome.
incredible.
It rattles you to your bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to anticipate that first jump when you first get there because you're like, I'm not expecting this. you don't realize the concussive wave that'll hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's you guys were talking about that. That was one part that I never even thought about. Was
Yeah,
like
it's not
that
just the
part.
sound. It's,
I was thinking just how loud it was and stuff like that. I never really thought about like you could actually feel it.
Yeah. It's like a bomb goes off.
Yeah, I was just saying that's the best explanation I've heard. Is like standing next to a bomb going off.
So I guess you're saying you would recommend people go to this?
Oh,
if
yeah.
you can get tickets, because Saturday was 100% sold out. They
Yep.
said it was one of the largest NHRA events ever.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people? Roughly how many people?
I don't know. At
lot?
least 60, 70, 100. I don't know. It was a bunch.
very, very familiar to Tannerite going off.
Oh,
It's
okay.
extremely familiar to that
we,
kind of wave.
we know that.
But
We know
not,
that.
not one boom. It's
yeah,
like
it's kind of a
nonstop.
wave.
It's a nonstop boom.
Yeah.
It's a continual boom.
But no, the people were great. I thought the whole atmosphere was great. A lot of people were friendly. They let you come in, take photos.
How
of
was the
cars.
access? Like, how close could you get to
You
stuff?
go anywhere.
Really?
You go anywhere except for the strip. Anywhere
You can
Like garages and stuff like that? Or do they
so
have
every
garages?
ticket is a pit pass, so you can
Okay.
be 8 feet away from this 12,000 horsepower motor
Yeah.
while it's running.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean,
Dang.
it probably wouldn't be the smartest without a gas mask.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, you
it's
can stand there for about 3
you
seconds.
literally feel like you're getting tear gassed.
Jeez. Okay, so maybe.
But no, they put the whole facility they put together down there. It's just top class.
Obviously, traffic getting to that racetrack is really bad because it's 1 2-lane road that access that racetrack in
Whose
the middle
idea
of
was
freaking
that?
nowhere. The
It's
racetrack
rough.
is in the middle of the freaking Gainesville woods.
Well, it's because it's 150 decibels. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
they need to be
But,
out in the middle of nowhere at that
that's
point.
the only problem. You got to get there early. You got to know it's going to be some traffic, but it's incredible. Every ticket gives you a lot of access, so it's super fun. It didn't feel crowded. Once you're there, it doesn't feel crowded.
No,
Yeah. And we almost saw someone's drone get shot out of the sky.
that was pretty wild. The road drone.
Yeah, you guys were telling me about that. They actually put like they were they doing announcements or something about it? Or
Yeah, the PA announcer came over and said, "Your drone needs to leave now, or the sheriff will shoot it out of the sky."
That's
All right, welcome to Gainesville.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually would kind of be rooting for that to happen.
Oh yeah,
'cause-
everybody started.
Everyone was like, shoot it.
Yep, that's Gainesville for
Yeah.
you. So awesome.
I'll
so
tell you too. One more thing before we leave this
Yep.
is we got to see Tony Stewart run.
Oh, yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
he's
right.
running the full series in the top alcohol.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool. He jumped the line, so he lost, but but he was out there doing a signing
Heavy
and all
pedal.
kinds of stuff. So there's a ton of access.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Did
so super
was
cool.
it was there any big? I haven't seen any of the stuff on. Is it
No,
big
it was
wrecks or anything?
Really clean. Even so, this is our second year. Last year they had a couple like motors blow up, and they had to go pick up all the pieces all over the racetrack. But this year is either they took off or they just didn't. But no, nothing crazy
Okay.
except for 338 miles per hour.
I mean that's a whole nother crazy. we complain that we're not going fast enough at 200, and these guys are doing 300
Crazy
plus
man.
and stuff like
Insane.
that. That's insane. So awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Moving down to the list here, and then so something I wanted to talk to you guys about, because this is something that's kind of made the news, and we were kind of talking about it, and I think we all have a little bit of a difference of opinion on this, is as far as like how this is going to affect and we're jumping back to NASCAR, how this is going to affect the season so far. The hood louvers from the Chevy team of Hendricks have been confiscated, as well as I believe one from what's his name? What's the Colleague Racing?
Yeah.
I think they confiscated one of theirs. For some reason, they took it back to NASCAR's R&D center to test it. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they were doing something shady, or do you think they're something more simple than
So
that?
the little bit that I read into it, and the details are super vague, but what I understand is the louvers are manufacturer made, right?
So by Chevy?
Yes, it's a car manufacturer made, and they've had a problem with them fitting, and they've made some adjustments to help to get them to fit better. NASCAR basically said they need to make them work. They need to work with the manufacturer to make that work better. So is there a penalty to come out? I mean, it's just like I think this is a lot like the tires from last year at Daytona. If it's a fix to make it work and make it fit, and there's obviously no gain, I don't think we see a penalty. If it's a problem and there is some sort of advantage gained, then we'll 100% see a penalty. And so they took them back, and they're going to do some R&D testing in North Carolina this week. We'll probably know Wednesday.
Yeah, I think I heard Tuesday, Wednesday was what they were saying. The thing that I was kind of interested in was that I've heard that also has to do with like that's where the air comes out from under the engine and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and that can help with downforce and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it
definitely
very
aero
well
games that could be played.
Yeah, so and the thing I think that for me that made it seem like it wasn't as big of a deal was the fact that they were like, hey, we let them practice. They were able to run practice with it on, and then they're like, for qualifying, hey, you got to take that off. And then they're not doing anything about it until they're testing it, and then we'll know Tuesday or Wednesday. To me, if it was a more egregious
If it was
offense,
obvious,
yeah, I feel like it would have happened immediately.
We would have known like penalty forthcoming already.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't think because we don't have that yet. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
If they still modified a next gen spec part, they could still. I mean, that's what happened to Brad.
Yeah,
They were fixing an
Rest
old
in
part.
peace.
Yeah. We're at 2022 season.
2022,
Rest in
RIP.
peace. Yeah, so hard to say.
With the whole part, obviously there's going to be more information about it this week coming
Matt
up.
thinks they're cheating.
I mean, they're four.
I
four
mean-
for four. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying if there is an
You
advantage,
might be
they
right.
found it.
Hopefully not.
Again, I'm not against any team, make or model, but I just hope everything is equal because they hit Toyota for it for putting the tape. They hit Brad for it for Ford. It's Chevy's turn. So let's see what
Front
hits.
Row Motorsports also got that last year too.
They got something going on.
Didn't
I can't
Harvick,
remember.
Harvick had something.
No,
I thought he had. No, maybe not. Maybe that
that
was
was a
So-
couple years ago.
I want, if anything out of it, if there is something that happens, just make it fair. You
I feel
know,
like
if it's gonna be fair, make it fair.
I feel like it's not something so crazy.
You don't know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I thought
I
you
feel
know
This
like
is
this-
only your first year, Nate.
I
You don't know.
I know, but it's like being that it's my first year, right? I have fresh eyes on everything,
Yeah.
right? And so I have the perspective of there's so many rules.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something I would like to see less of because it's like, man, let the boys race, man. You know what I mean? Like if it's gonna be something small like that, I mean, granted, right? Then it's just something that one team is doing better.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I think if you go back to like the last generation, this Gen 6 car, you had a lot more of that where teams could
Yeah.
kind of do that. And the problem is you have the big teams and then the distance between the big teams
Yep.
and the bottom teams is massive.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they've tried to do is try to bring all that parity together and make it to where the lower spec teams still have a chance. So
No,
yeah,
man, let the little teams get stomped on, man.
yeah. But see, then the little teams have to keep being replaced by even smaller teams.
I think the problem is, so the whole point of the next gen car is to create a spec body and a spec chassis and spec parts, so that way you can't spend countless millions in aero and development.
Yeah.
Where basically a car runs. I mean, the way the Gen 6 was, a car would run 3-4 races and it was junk.
Yeah.
It was already outdated. $200,000-$300,000 car, trash.
Yeah.
Or sell it to like an Xfinity or ARCA team.
Joe Gibbs, Stuart Haas, and Rick Hendrick could definitely spend those millions of dollars on research. But Spire
So-
Motorsports,
Nope.
Nah, they
Remember a couple
they're
years ago?
stressing.
Petty Motorsports at the time, yeah, they
They
no.
can't, man. They can't afford.
Remember,
that.
like 3-4 years ago, they used to have a saying, the big three.
yeah, it was always
three,
the big three.
Three teams would figure it out, and nobody else would win.
Nope.
It wasn't good.
Last year was
So
the
this
year
car
we saw a
brings
lot more
parity.
diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I agree, but I do agree with you. Is like for a new fan jumping into NASCAR, the rules are very very complicated.
Yeah.
Like it is not easy to jump in, and I think it's been nice having you around because you'll like make comments about things, and we just are like used to it.
Yeah.
Because we've been in it for now several years, and so we don't think anything about it. So hearing you kind of bring it up, it's like, oh yeah, never really thought about it like that because it's just what we're
Yeah,
used to.
even something like as small as the whole digital dash thing, right? Oh, well, the like blurring out of the dash.
Oh yeah, they have to.
You know, and
I don't like that.
I feel like for me
No.
as someone that's new to the sport, I want to see what the gauges are reading. I want to see how that affects the car. I want to see, you know, really what's going on the dash. I feel like that gives me more of a perspective as to what's really going on inside the car.
Yeah, I don't like the blurred out dash at all.
No,
I'm not a fan.
I mean, I don't know. I think they need to figure out something to do with that. I don't know what the answer is because like, there's got to be a way that they can somehow maybe just blur out even the really important number, which seems to be the engine temp. That
You-
seems to be the
yeah.
number one concern.
This goes back to Dale Sr. never wanted an in-car camera ever, and it's
Really?
because he didn't want people to see what he was doing. There was no SMT data. There was none of that telemetry that teams have now. So I mean,
Well, this is also the
The
guy
cockpit
that
had
would
all
stick
your
his hand
secrets.
out and feel the air. I mean, you know, I mean, this,
open face helmet.
yeah, I mean, like totally different thing, but still, no, you
But,
got a
but it's
point.
the same thing. Like that's your you got a small bag of tricks, and they want to keep it a secret. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
but I don't.
I don't think it's good for fans. I get it
it's
from a
not good for
competition
fans.
standpoint, but as far as fans go, I get it. Something else that happened this week. So you guys, this has been a busy week for us.
Oh, yeah.
So we also, I say we, but I mean Jake and Matt, you guys got to go meet a NASCAR driver this week.
We did. Yeah, we actually
Yeah,
got
we
to
did.
do
Why don't you
Oh
go ahead
man,
and tell me
it's
about it?
it's kind of a convoluted story.
Well,
to be
I mean,
honest.
let me tell the
I'll
story.
let Jake jump in because he's
Jake, tell
kind of
the
the
story, bro.
mastermind of it.
So here's the deal. I work at Disney. I was leaving my job. I was driving past the Contemporary Resort, and I noticed an SHR show car hauler on like Wednesday night at like 5 o'clock. So using some of my access, I kind of started snooping around trying to find a race car. It took me about 20 minutes. I found a race car, and I found the lady that was organizing the event, and I went and talked to her and figured out they were doing a sponsor unveil the next day. And so I said, it's kind of a weird question, but me and the boys do a podcast. Would you mind if we pull up tomorrow and watch? And so they were super excited that we came by, and it was super cool.
Yeah, they were really cool. They were eager but also curious of why we were pulling on up because it was a complete employee
It was employees only.
Employees only.
We were the two people that were not supposed to be there.
Yes.
Everybody had the exact same shirt on. Me and Matt roll up in two black ones. They're all wearing red.
We had our prototype here for the speed t-shirts on, and we had the owner of the company come on up, and he's like, hey, so I see you guys walking around. What's going on? And we're like, hey, we're with the podcast. We were kind of invited over just to do kind of a quick meet and greet kind of thing. He's like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, just get us on out there. It was MVP, Magical Vacation Planning. So they were awesome. They were great hosts. They let us come on in for a few hours.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they let you guys do that.
Me too.
Me too.
I mean, hey, super cool. Like,
Yeah.
So
super,
they let us
super
in
awesome.
there. We got to talk to Chase Briscoe. Was there for about an hour or so.
I mean, he was still there when we left.
Yeah, and we got there at like 8, and we dipped around like 10:30. But we got to talk to two of the show haulers for Stuart Haas. They kind of alluded to some of the vehicle, how it's made, because it was a show vehicle at the time. They said, yeah, this was one that was decommissioned last year. A lot of the parts were damaged parts that they refixed. They put on the show cars, they rewrap it, and then they're able to take it around the country. And just kind of talking to Briscoe, just, hey, what are you looking forward to? Obviously, this was before the Phoenix race. He finished pretty good here at Phoenix. So
Yeah.
we kind of alluded into how do you feel since you won it last spring? Now you're walking on back into it. And he was more skeptical about it because it's a short pack. It's an all new pack. He's like, I have no clue how we're going to show up. Which, I mean, obviously it played off in the, on the plus side. He started, 20 plus back, and he finished, I think, top 10. I don't have the sheet in front of me, but he finished right up
He
there.
had alluded to, he was hoping that this was going to really help SHR kind of reset because they had a tough year last year. And then, it showed up. Harvick was fast. He was fast.
Yeah.
So, definitely made a gain.
Yeah.
From the last couple
It
weeks.
seems like Stuart Haas kind of plays on that low downforce package a lot better.
So Harvick said in a pre-race interview that the short track races are ones that they're important to their team.
Yeah. And then just kind of alluding, trying to ask more questions to Briscoe because, we only had a X number of times to talk to him because we didn't want to take the whole show away from the employees. But we were talking about, like, how do you feel about coming up races? He's really, really excited about Dirt Bristol. He thinks he's going to show up there and dominate. So I'm really, really excited to see that.
Wait, didn't he? Was it him and Reddick?
Yeah.
Got into each other. I forgot about that.
That one is circled on his book. Is Dirt Bristol.
He almost got to him.
We said, which race are you looking forward to? Which one aren't you looking forward to? And he said, I got Bristol Dirt circled. He's like, and not Sonoma.
Not Sonoma. So any fantasy drivers out there,
Do
fantasy
not
league
pick
guys,
him for Sonoma.
You got two right there.
And watch him show up now.
Yeah, right. Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
But kind of the last thing we kind of alluded to was just trying to talk to him about any upcoming races he's planning on doing, such as like Xfinity or truck. And he's like, right now, I just don't have a lot. He's like, if I can get a truck ride for Bristol, he's 100% down. But right now, he just doesn't see it.
Yeah. So before we move into our favorite section, the About It section, we did have a fan ask us a question. We have a fan. We have at least one.
I'll take one.
Go.
Yeah. So
Shout out to you, fan.
Yes.
I don't have their name, so I apologize. I can't tell who you are. But their question was, what do you think about the next gen car versus the last gen? So the Gen 6 car. Nate, I don't know how you're going to be able to help us here.
Won't be able. Sorry, fan. You got no input from me.
Your only experience is this gen.
Yeah, they're probably not even a fan of me. They're just a fan of you guys.
Nate's probably like, yeah, it races pretty good.
Cargo zoom zoom.
break.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Jake, I'll still let you go first. What are you thinking? Next gen versus old.
There's a lot of things I like. The majority I like. I mean, there's no way this car was. I think the car performed better in the first year than most people expected. Right. The mile and a halves were not good at all in the Gen 6, whether it was low downforce or high downforce or whatever. They just couldn't make it work. That goes back to what we're talking about, the aero wars. Mm-hmm. It was just dominated by air. And so those got way better. The short track package struggled, and the road courses struggled. So we'll see. We'll still have some time to tell. But as of last year, kind of a toss-up. Short tracks, road courses were better in the old car. Mile and a halves were not. So it's kind of a toss-up. I like it, though. I like the parity. I really like not having the big three. So
yeah.
I'm a big fan. My only complaint is I think the car has a little bit too much grip. Whether you take that by removing surface contact with the tire or adding more horsepower, either way, that'll be better.
Yeah, so kind of just going from Gen 6 to Gen 7. Gen 6 I thought was a great car, especially towards the later years because they really figured things out with it. Obviously, we are super speedway fans. We go to Talladega and Daytona whenever we can, and they were amazing there. They were some of the greatest races I've seen. I really enjoyed them. But as far as a lot of the other tracks, like Jake was alluding to, they didn't play out.
Yeah.
So only having, obviously, I say at that time because Atlanta wasn't repaved, but the 4 major speedways, they were great for those races, but the rest of them, they were kind of lackluster. Looking towards the Gen 7 car, I like it a little bit better because it adds a little bit more diversity to the teams. You can also rebound a lot better. There was a lot more DNFs with the Gen 6 car because when they took damage, they were done. These cars can hit the wall a little bit more, wall ride. They can take a little bit more beating and banging.
They can do a Hail Melon.
They can do a Hail Melon. I mean, I don't know if that one's going to come back, but
well, it's not.
But
I don't think that would
generally
work in the
speaking,
Gen 6.
there's no
it
way.
wouldn't have happened.
Too bad they banned it.
So speaking on that half, I think the beat and banging, I think it creates better racing. And I've said it before on the show. I'm here for better racing.
Yeah.
No matter what it leads to, as long as it creates a better outcome for the sport, I'm about it.
Yeah, because I think like the thing too is if you look at the Xfinity series, a lot of people will tell you this is one of the best racing series. Right, there's some of the best racing in the Xfinity series.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of that can be attributed to the composite bodies on the cars and the fact that, like you said, you can rub fenders and you're not going to like totally cut a tire after touching for, just one time and then you're done.
Yeah.
And I think that's one really big advantage that this car brings is that, now it has a little bit more resilience. It can beat and bang just a little bit more, which I think is good. I think that, like you said, it's brought more racing. And I think overall, I'm definitely a fan of the next gen car. Overall, for the most part, the biggest problem is I think everyone can agree here is the safety aspect. I don't want to say that they took a step backwards in safety because I don't necessarily agree that they took a step backwards in safety. I think the problem is in building this car, they were trying to build a car that is more rigid, it's more tough. It's I don't know what other words you want to use to describe it, but I would use the word rigid. Reusable, okay, to save the team's money.
Durable.
There you go. Same thing.
That works. That word. And but specifically, I think rigid. Okay, when you think of things that are rigid, they don't give. Well, the thing is if a car gives when it goes into a wall, it's going to absorb more impact. It's going to. So I think the Gen 6 was much better at giving because it was a softer car, and NASCAR just hasn't quite figured it. I don't know. It seems a lot better than it used to be, at least when it first came out. And they have been making constant improvements to make that better. But that's the biggest thing, that biggest negative I think that the new car has against the Gen 6 car is the safety aspect, which I think they've addressed and they've got it a lot better.
I think, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think the most important thing is they just have to stay on top of making adjustments to keep the racing as competitive as possible. Even if they ran this car and made 0 changes 2 years from now, the racing would be way different, and there would be changes that need to be made. So as long as they keep on top of that, it'll get better. And you see the commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Short track's going to run on wet, a new aero package on short tracks. That definitely improved from last Phoenix's race.
That brings
You
up
know,
another
so-
pocket or another topic, just a slight one. All the teams were forced to remove the windshield wipers.
Teams asked to remove the windshield wipers.
Oh, I thought they were
Well,
forced.
they did
I
that
heard it
because
was like, hey,
NASCAR
get off.
mandated that it had to be in the 12 o'clock position. And I'm guessing that was where their issue was. Is it's way too big, I guess, because
I guess in the
downforce.
meeting on Friday, team meeting, drivers meeting, whatever kind of meeting they had on Friday, there was a request to remove it.
That's wild. That again, don't know the specifics of it, but that's the first time I've heard of NASCAR doing that. To where, hey, we gotta get this part off the car.
the only, like I said, I think the issue was with NASCAR mandating it had to be at 12 o'clock. I think between that and then obviously, if you've ever seen these windscreen wipers, these things are massive. They're like 4 times thicker than the ones we have in our cars. Why? Because the teams would position them in a way that gave them a little extra downforce. Now that NASCAR mandated and said, no, you got to put it in the 12 o'clock position, now they have a giant block that's right in the middle of the windscreen. And I think
we see this going forward.
Yeah.
If there's no chance of rain, they'll probably pull them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
IndyCar does it.
Does what?
Well, they have that thing in the middle of the windshield.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the halo, the cockpit
halo
thing.
bar.
I think that's part of the vehicle.
I know, but
That's
I don't
like
think that's a
that's
removable
like a windshield.
man, I tried it on iRacing. That is not easy.
I think
You
they
gotta cross
probably
your eyes a
removed
little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
I think they probably removed the windshield wiper because they must have thought they would have some kind of aero deficiency on the rear spoiler.
Maybe.
You know, they probably sim tested without it, and then they changed the package maybe or something. So for data and everything else, they probably wanted to just run without it.
It
Or
could
who
be.
knows? It could have just been a curveball. Just hit all the teams with a wild curveball like 2
No,
days
again,
before the race.
but they asked for it.
Oh, the drivers
The-
asked for
the
it?
drivers
Drivers and the teams
Ooh.
asked for it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
NASCAR was just kind of
No,
making
no,
up
no.
rules.
Well,
You never know.
They do that sometimes.
I mean, yeah, it happens. All right, so let's move on to our favorite section, the I'm About It section. All right, so for
About
anyone,
it or not about it.
about it, not about it. Yeah. So for anyone that's just listening for the first time, this is a section where I'm basically going to give us little topics, and then we basically say whether we're about it or we're not. So the first one, we've kind of already talked about it a little bit, so it's going to be a shorter section. The new package for short tracks. Overall, after seeing it now on one race, granted it's one race, what do you guys say? Do you guys say about it, not about it?
Oh, me first.
I tried to point. I guess it was too. It was a little subtle. Sorry.
I mean, we took steps in the right direction. So far, I'm about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we need more sample size, but so far,
Yeah.
what I've seen, it's definitely better about it.
Yeah.
I'm about it. It's changing for the better. I'm about it.
And you're hold on. First year, Nate, and your point of reference is
Last Phoenix.
you did watch Last Phoenix with us.
I did.
Do you
I don't
remember
remember anything from it. But
Oh man, we got to work on your memory, man.
hey, listen, changes for the better. Always about it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's what I would kind of allude into. We kind of already talked about it a little bit. It was a better Phoenix race than we've seen in a long time. I think the only thing I would still try to work on, maybe the tires, just because there wasn't a lot of fall off, I think, throughout the race. I mean, throughout the race, I think Tyler Reddick was the top dog with the 4 freshest tires, and he still wasn't able to make the runs to get the win. You know, he was still up there. He was able to compete and stay there, but
I have it in the notes somewhere. Tire
First
fall
was
off.
first.
Tire fall off was like I think 1.5 seconds.
no, it wasn't enough. So it had to be the
Average
tire.
was 1 second across.
But then
the
One
on the-
second. Okay.
But then on the flip side, like obviously you don't want tires blowing all the time because that leads to horrible racing. And then I'm
Yeah.
sure Goodyear doesn't want their tires blowing all the time. So it's a real fine line. I don't get paid enough or paid at all to even make that decision.
Or paid it all.
But the decisions they made towards the reduced downforce, I'm about it.
Yeah.
I think they should work a little bit more into it. I think this was a great benchmark for them to work towards. But yeah, no, this was a great race. As far as the package, there needs to be a little bit more excitement. I think that falls into the tire, but I'm about it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
same here. I'm definitely for it. I think, like you said, it was a step in the right direction. I think we're good there. You know, it's getting there. Though I think the problem is our first one is Phoenix, and Phoenix has not been one of the best the best races.
I think
I told y'all 2 weeks ago or last week it races like a mile and a half.
Yeah,
It has mile and a half characteristics.
it does. No, so what's the next short track? Is it Martinsville?
real quick. I think the only thing I was expecting a little bit more of was more spinouts.
I did expect that.
That's what I expected. A little bit more hitting the wall, kind of like that Darlington Stripe style. You know, get a little bit more loose on exit. Could be the tire, could be a little bit more horsepower,
a little more wheeling.
something of that nature. I think if they could dial that in just a tad bit more, you're right on the money.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It's definitely like I said, step in the right direction. But I think the key is going to be the next short track that we go to. That'll kind of, now that point we'll have two, and then we'll kind of know, we'll have a better idea.
Yeah, so the next one is in 2 weeks, Circuit of America. Not short track, but
this package?
yeah, lower downforce package. And then it's Richmond, same thing. Bristol Dirt, its own thing. And then Martinsville. So we have two I guess if you count Talladega in April, so we have 2 super speedways, 1 dirt race, and 3 short track packages.
Okay.
So
By
we'll get a
Martinsville,
lot
I
of
hope
superstars.
I hope they get it together by Martinsville. I think that would give them enough time to kind of figure out.
I think by
What
then,
do you mean by get it together?
whether it be a
like
different
small
tire,
adjustments.
whether
No,
it
they're
be
not well, every racetrack has its own tire compound.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Just kind of more of that wheeling style racing.
Teams pushing.
Able to spin out a little bit more because they stayed. I felt like in this race at Phoenix, they were able to stay too aggressive for too long. In my opinion, I thought they were aggressive for 20, 30 laps in, and if you're aggressive up front, that tire wear should be a
I think
little
that
bit more
also
drastic.
plays into the tire fall off.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of it, so I think that probably would maybe that's all they need to do. Adjust the tire compound a little bit, and then maybe you've got a really good product.
Yeah.
Get a little more fall off or something.
And maybe
So,
they got what they needed out of this race, and they're ready for championship week. You never know.
Yeah. All right. So next one. So there was a caution in the middle of stage 2 for Eric Amarola and his tire doing
What it did.
doing what it did. So Eric Almirola gets a penalty for a loose wheel.
So with this thing, there's a lot to dissect in this caution.
That's what I was hoping for.
NASCAR stating that it was improperly
Secured.
Thank you. Then he hit. So the wheel came off. He hit the wall, and then somehow the tire popped, and the tire came off, and then the rim came off, and everything just kind of eluded into one big cluster. From TV side, what we saw, what most of the fans saw, it looks like he cut a tire. He hit the wall. The tire failed, or the rim failed. It fell off. Something failed in the car to where everything had to fall off.
Right.
And that's why he lost the tire. And then he came into pit road, and then they held him for two laps, and
which is the penalty for a loose wheel.
Which makes sense, but I don't understand how the tire explodes after it falls off if the tire's not on the rim while the rim's going down the front.
And
it's
and it wasn't like
cluster.
this. It wasn't like this was right after a pit incident. This was multiple laps into a run.
How did the rim stay on for so long?
Yeah,
That's
and we've seen pretty much like you can't do one lap if that lug is.
I remember several times they'd be one lap in, if not half a lap in, and the tire would come off. I remember Bubba lost one over at, I think it was Road of America.
They usually knew before they were off pit road.
Yeah,
like they
100%
knew
know.
immediately.
So this is few laps in.
This was multiple laps. I don't remember the exact number, but I believe it was above 20.
Yeah,
like it was a ways into it.
I want to know what Eric, because I didn't hear what Eric had to say about it. I want to know what he had to say about what he felt before it went loose.
Yeah.
I want to know his driver instinct of it, because
because my
he's going to
issue,
tell his crew something different than
my
what he's
issue is,
TV,
and I mean,
unless he's heated.
I'm not gonna lie, my kids were here, so I kind of missed the incident a little bit, and I saw the end of it, and to me it looked like a simple cut a tire, hit the wall, tire broke when he hit the wall, and
right.
Then he got a penalty for a loose wheel, which to me looked wrong.
Right.
And like I said, maybe I missed something. I didn't really catch that part of it. I don't know if there was something that was off there, but something was a little off. I don't know. It felt off to me. I don't know. That didn't feel like the right call for me.
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
Yeah. Nate, what'd you think? You're about it. The penalty specific, not the caution, because you know, obviously if there's a tire rolling around on the track, that's a caution. But as far as the penalty, how are you feeling on that?
I mean, of course, you got to be safe. I mean, these wheels are what 80 pounds,
70, 80
pounds. I mean, that can kill somebody. So you know, I see the penalty as just trying to keep everything safe, and just showing the severity of like, hey, listen, that has to be right. You know, like if it's loose, it can't be loose. Like, but again, you know, going to what Matt said, you know, it could have been something else, you know, because cars don't normally make it around once with a loose lug nut. So it's like, you know, to me, it's kind of a gray area. When it comes to the penalty, though, I'm going to have to say that I'm about it. Why? Because I'm about safety, you know.
Okay.
You're about a 2-lap penalty for a quote-unquote possible tire falling off. It's not confirmed. I mean, as far as I know, I can't confirm it was falling off.
I'm about the safety.
Tire came off after he hit the wheel. Or hit the wall. Sorry, hit the wall.
I'm about the safety aspect.
But the penalty, the
Okay.
2-lap hold.
All right, so let me interject here because I got it pulled up right now on my
Yeah.
computer. I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't know about you, but it looks like the hub is still on there. The lug nut is still on there.
Surprised
Nate,
it broke
you're
off.
you're looking
Yeah.
at it with me. What do you think? Look at the rear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
that's weird.
how
It
could
looks
it
like
how
it
could
just
it have
broke
fallen
off.
off if the lug looks like
If
it's
the
still
lug
there?
is still there, then it did not fall
Look at the
off.
photo.
The caution, 100%
Look at the rear
about
wheel.
it.
Look at the front.
The caution, 100%. You can't have a rim or a wheel or someone hitting the wall.
Which one
without
was
having
it
a
that
caution.
actually
The front
failed?
broke, but look,
Yeah.
see that?
I mean,
If,
like
if you go back and like what we're looking at is we're going back and looking
It's
at the replay
tough.
on YouTube, and it's not a great shot, but man, it sure
you get-
looks like the hub is
Can you
still
get?
on there.
Can you turn the quality up on that?
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
part.
No.
This is the downside to doing this podcast like right after
Right
the race.
after the
Yeah.
race,
Like,
we're still
That's
getting
all
data.
I got.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
because it looks like he took a shot.
Yeah, but
it looks like he
this is
took
what
a
I'm looking
shot.
at right here. You see this
Yeah,
hub?
and so that's what I'm
And look,
saying.
but you
It
see
could
it
have
in the
been
rear.
that it just broke. I mean, and if that's the case,
I think
mean,
the wheel broke,
I think the wheel broke too.
so therefore
Yeah.
I'm not about it.
yeah.
yeah.
I don't see enough conclusive data. I would love for NASCAR to share that, but I don't see enough data. Even if, like y'all said, there's no way you go that long. That tells me that the hub probably failed, or not the hub, but the pin in the.
And
lug
again,
nut.
Maybe.
just clarifying, we're not against the caution. There
No, the
should
caution,
100% be a
100%.
caution. It is the penalty.
I mean,
towards
what's to
Eric
argue
to
about the
hold it.
caution? There's a freaking
No,
aluminum
I get that,
wheel
but
sitting in the
just
racetrack.
making sure we're all on the same page. here.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I completely agree. All right. So moving on to our next one. Second straight win for Hendricks, and the fourth straight Chevy win. Jake.
Oh, I'm so about it. I mean, it's. I wouldn't even say Chevy has something figured out. Daytona 500, it's any man's game to win. But man, Byron and Larson have just got something figured out. It's crazy. And Byron just got up there and freaking smoked them on 2 restarts, or not 2, but the last one, I should say. He just got up there and beat them straight up, and hard not to like that.
Yeah, I think if you look at the other, the first restart of the last 2, I mean Larson had it, didn't he? I believe he got he got
probably.
out. So
Yeah,
I
he was
mean,
probably gonna win.
I think either one of them. It was a toss up. It could have easily been either one of them.
Yep.
Nate
so about it, man.
Oh my god, these guys.
says the guy with a Chevy jacket.
And a Hendrick
And a
hat.
Hendrick hat.
Earlier when he was like, I'm trying to approach this with like a new fan's eyes. When we're talking about like the louvers, I'm like, as he wears a Hendrick hat.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, Hendrick is where I mean that's kind of like saying, "Oh, I'm a LeBron fan." Like,
That's a little rude.
Let's keep it on one sport.
fair enough.
yeah, I mean, love Chevy, man, and it looks like they really, like Jake said, man, they've got something dialed in. They look really fast. They're racing great, and even like the drivers in general, they're driving great, man. Hendrick is driving great, so about it.
yeah, Matt.
I am not about it.
Of course,
I am not about Chevy winning.
Hold on. He is a Brad fan.
Hey, that doesn't have to do anything with this. I am here for good racing.
Wait a minute. Yeah, hold on.
What?
Your shirt.
You have a Hendrick shirt on.
I do. I change
You're
it up.
such a fake.
I don't want to have the
RFK.
same shirt on every freaking week.
Remember,
Like, hey man, you gotta.
He's just here for the speed.
I'm just here for the speed.
Fair-
Leave me
okay,
alone.
Okay,
All
fair
right?
enough.
On the flip side, I think Ford and Toyota, they should be in panic mode, 100%, because I feel like they're throwing everything to the wind and they are not getting the wins. I don't know what has happened to them, because they're able to run laps, but they can't catch and they can't beat the Chevys.
It's not time to hit the panic button.
I think it is.
Yeah, no.
You're 4 races in.
Harvick was going to win this race, minus a late caution where he just called the wrong pit strategy.
He did.
And Tyler Reddick was way faster. Had this been 5 laps,
They gotta
Tyler
hit the
Reddick
panic.
or Harvick would have won.
They got to hit the panic.
Possibly
I
even
felt like-
Blaney.
But
I
you
felt like-
would have won the race.
Yeah.
Harvick was probably going to win this race.
And Blaney was up there too.
Yeah.
Blaney was
What
right
do you
there.
saying. I
mean?
saw
Nah,
a
he
good
led
mixture.
entire stage 3.
Harvick did?
Yeah.
No, he led like the last 20
No,
laps.
yeah, you're right. He led.
Yeah, I
he
was
led
gonna say,
sorry.
no, bro.
He led the second half of stage 3.
yeah.
So let's just recap. I'm pretty sure like the last 500 laps of NASCAR, besides the last few laps there, were led by William Byron and Kyle Larson. That is a astronomical stat. Nobody was able. They were 1 and 2 for like
but is
500
that a
miles.
Chevy dominance or is that a
We'll see
Kyle
on
Larson
Wednesday.
and Hendrick?
Let's see. Let's check on Wednesday.
Well,
I'm
I was gonna
interested
say.
to see
However,
what
didn't-
comes out of
They
that.
didn't have those louvers in this race.
This is true.
They were-
They didn't have any qualifying either.
They had
Yeah.
different ones.
Yeah, they took them and they have
Yeah.
different ones in today.
Yep.
For the
I feel
race.
like
That's
I saw. I
So
felt like I
that tells
saw-
me that there's not much of an advantage in those louvers. But
But anyway, I think I'm not about Chevy winning 4 in a row because I want a little bit of diversity in the wins.
Oh, in the way.
So I don't.
Top 10 is super diverse.
I felt like there was a good mixture of cars.
Yeah, but you got to get the
you
checker.
exclude Kyle Larson and William Byron. The top 10 is super diverse.
yeah,
But are they winning?
Chevy ran good.
Are they
Toyota
winning?
ran good. Yeah, but it's 4 races. And forget about the 500.
All right, let's check next week.
3
Okay.
races.
Let's see what next week.
We'll see.
I agree. But
Well,
okay,
here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Chevy's pretty good at Atlanta.
Again, I'm not hating on Chevy. I just want more diverse racing. I don't want to say I want everyone to win, but everyone should be more competitive at this point.
He just wants Brad to get one.
Brad needs
I
one.
mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want Brad to. I want to see
too.
Brad win.
Yeah,
I
same,
keep picking
same,
I
him.
will,
same.
Dude,
I
I'm
was-
not gonna lie.
everyone into the
I'm not
Brad
gonna
train.
lie.
I was rooting for Brad today. He was running great.
Yeah.
Y'all, like, look, we're going to Atlanta, right?
I'm
And
picking Brad.
dude, how awesome would it be to see Brad win?
Picking Brad.
I don't even care. He
All
could
right.
be last. I'm picking Brad. There's a lot of laps
on
to
this
get him
Chevy
first.
thing, on this Chevy thing, I'm just gonna guess that Hendrick mainly, their sim is just way more accurate, so it'll catch up. I don't think it's I don't think any manufacturer has a huge advantage right now.
If I was running in a different manufacturer, I would be, hey, what is going on?
So
What
if
do
you're
you guys
Kevin
need?
Harvick, you're hitting the panic button, even though you're about to win the race today.
Yeah, he didn't,
But he was about to.
but he didn't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the end result because
okay.
what
but
is
if,
our
but if he
what is
takes
the
2
no,
tires,
hold
he
on,
wins the race
hold on,
most likely.
hold on. This whole point strategy, everything in NASCAR is checkers and you're in. So
Yeah, but you can't blame a I don't want to say a bad pit call, but I mean a pit call that doesn't work out on not winning. He lost because of a pit call.
I mean if that's how it is, that's how it is. But I don't
All
know.
right, so-
I think they got to. I think other teams. I think they need to figure out because how many times? So, who won the poll this week? It was Larson, right?
Larson. Yeah.
There's been. I don't know. It's weird seeing because Logano won the poll last week to the back. He was top 5 starting this week to the back. Just
Yeah.
they
I think
they
that's
got to
a
figure
Penske
something
problem.
out.
He's
Because
probably my
he-
biggest disappointment.
So let me throw this in there because I haven't gone yet. I'm not about it. Pretty much for the same reason
Thank you.
Matt is. I want more competition.
You got to have more competition.
I
man.
want
more
to
competition.
now.
Better racing.
I don't know. You tell
Now
me.
I'm against Matt in this sense. I wouldn't be hitting the panic button yet. You have Daytona. You had this race, which honestly there was a lot of manufacturers that were right there that I think anybody, depending on how that race goes, you could have made an argument for Ford, for Toyota, for SHR, for Penske because Blaney was up there. For 2311, there was a lot that could have happened. So I don't know that I would say that I would be hitting the panic button yet, but I'm making sure I know where the panic button is.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I'm at.
We've hit a lot of different tracks over these last 4 weeks. We've hit the Super Speedway. Phoenix is a short track. They consider it a short track. It's a short track. You've hit a cookie cutter, and Fontana's kind of its own beast, but it's done and it's out. So you've hit the 3 big ones, and Chevy's won all 3.
Yeah,
4.
All 4. Sorry, I meant the 3 big ones, but they've hit all 4 races. If it was me, I'd hit panic button.
All right.
I mean, I just want to beat it up one more time.
Go.
I mean, Chevy just picked track position over handling, and so they win. So if I'm not looking for the panic button for speed, I'm picking better race strategy.
Yeah, it could be something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, what if the
SMG.
Chevys took all 4 tires and Ford or Toyota took 2 tires and they win the race?
Totally different conversation we're having.
So it's a pit call.
Yeah.
It's not a.
So that whole race came down to a pit call.
Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't come down to anyone dominating the first 2 laps or
It didn't
first
matter.
2 stages.
It wouldn't
Does
have
it
mattered.
matter?
It's data.
Yeah. But I mean, if it went green,
matters.
if it went
But
green,
it
Harvick
doesn't
won.
matter if you're fast in stage 1 and stage 2, and then you suck in stage 3. And by suck, I mean Byron ran 3rd or 4th. But I mean that's not how you win a race.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And there's another thing too, temperature change and all the different rubber buildup. Like the Fords could have been building up towards the end of the race, where the track was gonna get,
Yeah.
versus trying to be fast.
Harvick did allude to that they set their car up specifically for the end, not for the
Yeah,
beginning.
I mean that's a whole nother factor.
So
He still lost
he did.
Yep.
to
All
a
right.
Chevy.
We got to move on. We still got a couple topics, and we're starting to run long. So next about it, this is the dreaded big baseball hat.
I'm about it.
You didn't even give me a chance.
I'm sorry. All right,
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, Nate, you can
I'm
start.
so about the big hat
Why?
because it's awesome.
Okay.
It's so dumb. I hate it.
Loved it when Noah Gragson came out with it. Loved it when William Byron wore it last week, and I love the fact that he wore it again this week. I love it, man. I'm so about
This is
it.
almost this is like becoming like a cartoon character thing now with like Fox, where it's like we're gonna just start seeing it every week now for every driver.
I hate
man.
it.
At the end of the day, you have to make it you have to make it what's the word I'm
Entertaining?
looking for? Yeah, entertaining for the younger crowd, man.
That's
Yeah.
what's entertaining to a younger crowd. A big foam hat.
Yeah, man.
I'd buy
Kids love that stuff, man. I'm like a big
I'm gonna
kid.
be looking at it
I
later.
legit
I
looked
love
it
it,
up.
dude.
I looked it up to get a custom made one because I was gonna get one and have the Here for the Speed podcast and wear it to Atlanta. Bro,
Oh my
it's
God.
like $150 or like $175, and I'm like, that's not enough.
Not about it.
Nope, I'm not about it anymore. So that's kind of So I was about it. I'm with Nate. I was about it with Noah Gregson. I thought it was hilarious, but it now it's like every week, and it's like okay, it's not funny anymore. Like it's every week now.
I'm about it 100% because at the end of the day,
I'm sitting here with a bunch of children.
at the end of the day, a big hat equals a big brain, and you got to have big brain energy to win these races.
Let's
Or-
go.
So that's it, man.
That's
Oh
the
my
best.
God.
That's the
Big
best
brain
explanation
energy
right there.
And also, I kind of hope they sell them at Atlanta so I can buy one.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wear it
If they
into the
sell them and they're
track.
decent price in Atlanta, I might buy one.
If they buy them in bulk, I can imagine they could
Hey, we
probably
don't-
sell them at a little discount. You know?
We don't need a
Hey,
custom
you
one.
know?
Well, you did if you wanted to put the logo on there. That's what I was gonna do.
I see what you
Yeah.
mean. Oh,
No,
yeah.
I mean-
You can buy just a black one or like a red one, but it's like, what's the
No,
point?
well, like they should sell like the team ones.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like a Hendrick one or
Well, if they're $175 from
I would
direct from the
totally get it.
manufacturer, imagine how much they'd be selling them
Could
for.
you imagine?
$250
I
or
would
something.
I would not want to sit with y'all at a race.
I'm going to purposely sit right next to you.
We would literally
the whole
make
time.
you sit between us all.
Oh my God.
They would all be different.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
All
I feel, I,
right.
feel, I
heads.
feel like it's watching like N64 GoldenEye big head mode. I hate
Well,
it.
can you guys tell that Jake is not about it?
I'm not about it, and I'll tell you why. It's because like this. I mean, racing is so freaking serious and dangerous, and I mean, it's freaking super dangerous. And like, I feel like this and like the cartoons that Fox does, it belittle and the Michael Waltrip grid walk. I hate it, man. I hate like it should be serious. You go back and you watch like the broadcast of the back in the day, like 30 years ago, and it's like this epic music, and it's like this build up, these gladiators going to like it's super freaking dangerous, and I feel like that's kind of getting lost, and it waters it down.
Just kind of being like a dictator, bro. Just let them have some fun after they win the race. It's
Yeah,
just
nobody laugh. Nobody
It's just a
laugh.
hat.
Here's the thing.
Jake's talking. Nobody laugh. No, this is a very serious thing.
Hey.
It's so dumb, dude.
You're the first one to laugh, Nate.
I'm sorry.
Here's the deal. When we go to Atlanta, I'm going to try to find Byron and just be like, tell me the truth. Do you like the hat or do you hate it?
He probably
He
orders them
loves the
himself.
hat.
It's probably not bought by
If he
Hendry.
tells me he loves
He
it,
probably
I'm
has a few on
just
back
going to
order.
Sharpie the 24 out of my shirt. She gone. DJ?
All right. I think I already kind of said like I'm not really about it anymore.
Oh,
I'm-
come on, DJ.
Nah.
Hey, it was fun when it was just Noah, and now it's like a whole
And
thing.
it's not because it was just Noah. It was just fun the first time. Like it was
Yeah.
just funny.
Yep.
But yeah, now I think it's like the gag is gone and it's just
Yep.
like annoying. All right.
Thank
last
you.
one.
Prunes.
All the different types of motorsports that are going to be represented at the new COTA race. So we had Kimi Räikkönen as announced is going to be running in the COTA race, Formula One champion. We have Jensen Button, who's also a Formula One champion, going to be racing in the COTA race. We have Jordan. What's the guy's name? The guy that's riding for Chase Elliott.
Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor, an IMSA champion. And we have Connor Daly, who is an IndyCar guy that's also racing in the race. So we've got a lot of different motorsports coming in to race a NASCAR race. Are we about it or not about it, Jake?
I'm about it. I'm most excited for Jordan Taylor because I think he's probably the one that would be the most comfortable quickly in this car. I know Kimi Räikkönen did Watkins Glen, but Jordan Taylor's a sports car racer, so I think he'll
A little
get
more experience.
and he's in a baller ride.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you can't really argue that the 9 is not.
the 9 on
Top
a road
tier.
course,
Yeah.
that's a good ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't care. To be honest, I could care less.
So you're not about it.
Yeah, I'm not about it. I don't give a crap. I'm just here for the speed.
Oh
my God.
Wow. Okay. Wasn't it? Oh, Matt.
Oh,
Moving on.
Well, I'm about it. However, it does seem like an invasion because
Little
we
bit.
got all these outside people kind of coming on into NASCAR. But I'm about it. A little bit of diversity on the field, some new people. I kind of alluded to it a few weeks ago, I think, but we were kind of alluding to the diversity and kind of getting more fans into NASCAR from other types of races as well as vice versa, other types of races coming into NASCAR. So I think it just kind of adds everything on in there and it just makes everything more or less a joined motorsports community.
I mean, you got to
So-
know more people are going to be watching because they're there from other motorsports, and
yeah.
I think this is one of those rising tide raises all boats. So
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good.
I'm 100% for it. I love the idea of bringing in some Formula One guys into NASCAR. COTA was a course, I believe that the whole reason it was built and designed was specifically for Formula One. So I'm super excited to see them. Bringing in an IMSA guy, bringing in IndyCar. I think all of these different, you're going to have fans from each one of those sports that's going to want to come in and look and watch NASCAR. And I think that is going to be a really good thing to have for the future of the sport. So,
Oh, yeah.
And I think this new car, talking about the car, this new car really lends itself more to having outside people come in and work with it. And I think it kind of molds better to that.
I feel like it's like Conor McGregor boxing.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I kind of agree with you,
It's like
but I still like it.
it's a money move. Yeah, I mean it's good for the sport.
I still
Yeah,
watch
It's
that
gonna
fight.
bring more money in at
Yeah.
the end of the day. So
Well, I mean, think about the people that, like if you're an old Formula One fan of Jensen or of Kimi, they're now at another track. You get to see him come out of retirement, to come back. And Jensen, one thing I think the reason he's probably doing this more so is because of Le Mans. Like obviously he's in the NASCAR program for racing at Le Mans. So I think that's a big thing. So I'm super excited for it. Definitely. I think it's going to be good. You guys have anything else you want to add for that topic? All right.
No.
So let's move on. We're going to move on to our next thing.
Oh, real quick, I will say Connor Daly is also going to be in the race. You didn't mention him.
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
did
he
you?
did.
Sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that.
We literally had a conversation before.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Connor Daly from IndyCar. Yeah, so he'll be in as well. So it's a lot. It's like 4 other motorsports are being represented in NASCAR.
I'm bummed that he's going to be back in the money team.
I know.
So it'll
That
probably
team
be
is not
a
money.
lackluster performance.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the next week's race. We're going to Atlanta.
Let's go.
And we're all
Yes,
going to
yes,
be
yes.
there. We got a whole crew
Yee.
going, I think, now this time.
Yeah, we
don't
got 6 people going.
It's the whole squad.
It's
whole
the
squad.
squadron.
Plus 1.
yeah, one extra.
On
But-
the road again.
So what are you guys looking forward to at Atlanta? Nate, this is your first time going to Atlanta, right?
Bucky's.
Yes.
Big fact. Big
Yes,
fact.
big fact.
We gotta stop at
So we do
Buc-ee's.
stop at Buc-ee's. So Buc-ee's is our spot where we load up, get all of our snacks and everything, because it's a whole lot cheaper
Get
to
a
buy food
brisket
there.
sandwich.
It's a lot better to get
like a
food there.
man.
A lot better to get food there than it is to get it at the track. It's a lot cheaper. So yep, we'll load up at Buc-ee's and then we'll head on over into the track and see all kinds of different things there. So Matt, what are you looking forward to?
Ross Chastain winning. That's
I
what I'm
thought you
looking
said
forward
Brad
Yeah.
was going to win.
Yeah, I thought
I?
you were going for. You
to. Either
literally
one.
said you
I'm
didn't
good with
care if it
either
was
one.
last.
You know, I'm a
Honestly,
it's a very-
Chastain was really good.
If you're
Has
not
been
first, you're
good.
last.
and you know it's going to be one of those wild races. I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think it's going to be a really good race. We're going to see how the track has weathered in a year and kind of see how the Gen 7 car has adapted to it. So it's going to be an all-out, guns blazing kind of race. And, we're
Atlanta's
just rooting for everyone.
last few years at Atlanta has been really good.
Yeah.
been
Yeah, we
good
went
racing.
last year, too. I want to say we went to both, right?
No.
We went to one.
We only went to one. We went to the
We've
spring.
been to 2 of them, 2 springs.
2 springs.
This
Yeah,
will be
so
our 3rd super speedway race in Atlanta.
yeah, so it's gonna be one.
Wow, can't believe it's 3 years.
I
old
know.
already.
Yeah, it's gonna be one wild race. So
Yeah. Jake?
I don't know. So at Daytona, there was a lot of handling issues, and you saw cars really trimmed out for speed. So I could see that really being an issue as the track surface ages. If they're really trimmed out for speed, we could see a lot of single file. They did shorten the race distance from 500 miles to 400 miles. So maybe there'd be more aggressive moves. And the weather, right now, forecast says a high of 51 degrees. So that'll help with track grip.
Yep.
But there's definitely a potential. Get out there, it gets hot and slick. Could be a lot of single file just based off of handling. But could be totally wrong. So we'll have to see.
yeah.
It either be really good or very single file
Also,
until the end of the stages.
They talked about today. They changed the commitment line for pitting.
Oh, yeah.
So that could, man, that could
I don't
be
know.
really wild.
But there was no green flag pitting last time,
That's
right?
true.
I don't think so, right?
I don't remember. With them shortening the race, we might see one, maybe.
Yeah. They had tire failures, though, that seem to stop. Look, we have it on the background of our TV right now. And they just had another wreck, so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's good. It'll be fun to get Nate out there, get him to experience another track. That's always fun.
Yeah, another speedway.
Yeah.
It's going to be my second race, and it's going to be another speedway. So that's going to be
We got to get
awesome.
you to something else.
Try to get you to
Yeah.
stay awake for this one. All right.
Oh, hey,
Since you were falling asleep today.
Yeah, it should be a little easier.
Yeah, this one should be pretty
yeah.
good.
I don't fall asleep at the track like Jeff.
You're just going to do them dirty like that.
Oh man,
Shout out to you, Jeff.
No, my gut tells me I think it's going to be a good race.
I think so.
I think it'll be very exciting. I can't, honestly, I love iRacing, and I'm so excited because I can't wait to race it all week. Because I always miss Daytona because we're at the race.
Yep.
So I'm hungry to race.
Well, you
it all
love
week.
Daytona. You always loved Atlanta even before. You loved the track before
Oh,
that.
yeah, of course.
Old Atlanta even.
That's the same reason why I love Auto Club. That
Yeah.
old, slick, wore-out surface is so much fun to race on.
So awesome. So that pretty much is all the topics that we got. You guys want anything you want to add before we sign off?
Let me check my notes.
I think we talked about a lot.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot.
There was a lot.
I will say
Yeah.
what was interesting today is a lot of speeding penalties. Just a random thing.
There wasn't there?
There was like 9.
Mm.
That was a lot.
Okay.
I was kind of surprised.
Little side note: is it because they didn't have as much downforce? Their car didn't slow down as much as they expected.
I don't know. I think that's a reach.
I realize it's a reach.
That's
been confirmed here on the
sticking
podcast.
your hand out the window and being like, "I'm going slower."
If you're
Well, just to clarify, Matt talked about the commitment cone for pit road, so they're putting it at the entrance of turn 3. So now instead of going into pit road off of 4, you have to commit down the backstretch.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is wild because pit road speed, I believe, is still not going to start until pit road. So they're going to be out there just hanging that thing out on the apron. I kind of want to see green flag pit stops. That might be pretty wild.
Yeah, it
That
could
might
a little
be.
wild.
Imagine everybody just dives
All of a
down to
sudden,
the
he's
apron, but they're still freaking. Oh my god, that could be wild.
That could be.
manufacturers all going together, just
Yes.
dropping out of line.
That could be super interesting.
So yeah, definitely. As in wrapping up, make sure that if you're listening to this podcast, definitely check us out on social media. We've got some great posts on there on Facebook, Instagram. Twitter. We're on Twitter as well. So definitely check us out. We got some cool things there. We have some things coming up that I don't. Do we want to talk about what we're doing? What are we doing?
Are we gonna do another Q&A? Look out this week for a
Maybe.
Q&A, man.
the
Ask us a
question of the week.
Question of the week, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's,
just fan questions.
that'll be a weekly thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
The more we get,
Yeah.
the more we can do.
I would
thank
say
you.
we can mention it if you want.
Yeah.
Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to the people that are listening in. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, we've had a lot of fun doing this, but it's also been nice to actually get people like talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we love it. It's actually like you guys are good." We're like, "Wow." I don't know how.
Place my ego a little bit more. It's great.
I don't know how we did this. We're talking about getting into doing more stuff on YouTube. Even we're talking about doing some stuff there. So you might see a little bit of some video work that we're trying to do. So that coming up with us going to Atlanta, kind of like vlog style, just to kind of see the track, see what we're doing and stuff like that. And should be a lot of fun. So all right, you got anything else? One last time. This is it.
No, we're all good.
That's
man.
it, man.
We're
All right,
ready. Ready
next
for Atlanta.
week, I don't know how we're going to do the podcast yet. It might be the Monday after because obviously we're there.
It'll probably be the Monday.
I think we've talked about trying to figure out a way to do it in the car. Probably just going to do it
We'll
here.
probably be rolling back into town at like 3 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be Monday afternoon.
Yeah, probably. So,
Yes, please.
More than likely.
all right, guys. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, we are here for the speed, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Like, share, follow.
Please,
Later.
please.
Let's do it.